So gang, in the previous episode we made this cool landing page along with this image gallery, right, using CSS grid and flex. So in this episode we will be building the next section, that is the home bottom section, which consists of these cool cards and this header up there, and then this cool Navbar, which is too responsive, and this footer. These are the things which we will be building in this episode. Hello world, how is it going on? I am Ashish, and today in this episode we will be continuing our from where we left off in the previous section, and yeah, boom. So let's get going without any further wastage of the time. So first of all, I'll be opening my VS Code and working on the next section, which is what? The home bottom section up here, right? We'll be working on this, so let's get going. So first of all, I had to create some more components to make this. So this is an entirely another component, and what will we give it a name? So let's give it a name and create it. So I'll be going here into the source folder and into these components folders, and I'll be creating a component called what? We'll be making it homebottom.js. Homebottom.js, and here also let's press RFCE and our snippets will load this stuff, and then let's give it a class. Say home bottom, and that's it. And then let's create a style sheet for this one. Say home bottom dot css, and let's copy this stuff here and hit enter so that the file gets created, and let's import it up here. Import quotes and paste that, and let's save it. And now our style sheet is also added there. So now let's get working for this. So first of all, let me import this home bottom section in our home.js. So I'll be going to this home.js, which we have built in our previous section. So I will again be creating this .empty class. So let's just copy it and pasting it so that this gives an empty black space for us. So after this, I'll be importing our home bottom.js, and let's import it. And yeah, so I have imported this home bottom.js, and now let's close this home.js, and we'll be working on this home bottom.js from now. So first of all, what will we need? First of all, we need some random text, which is here, while right on track, and let's create an h2 for this. Okay, I forgot to make it reactjs, so here click on it, search react, and yeah, it changed. Now let me make it the text a little bit bigger. Okay, now it's cool. And if I press h2, now it should give. Okay, and now I have pasted. So why right on track? We got that stuff here, and let us check. So something error here, can't resolve home bottom.css. Okay, we need to add a dot slash because it's in the same folder, and now it should be resolved. And yeah, and then we have this text here by right on track, and let's get going. And then we will be creating some cards here, and for those cards we will make a different component and load each card as a component. Okay, so let's get going. So I'll create a div with class name home bottom cards. Okay, and that's it. And in this section, in this class, we will be creating all our cards. So first of all, let's create a component for that. Okay, so I'll be going here into this folder only, and then I will say home card.js, home card.js, cool. And then let's say RFCE, and then turn it to React JavaScript, and boom. And then let's give it a class name. But before giving it a class name, let's create a style sheet for this one also. So let's get going. So here I click on this, and then home bottom dot css, and let's copy this one. Okay, the file is created, but I was not able to copy it. No worries, I will type it. Dot slash home bottom, not home bottom, it's home card.css. Okay, that was the error it was showing me. So is it came, no new file has been created, so let's create one, home card.css. okay, now it's created. And now let's import this here. home card dot css and fine, and now it should be alright. And now let's close this home bottom.css for now and give it a class. For what we'll be giving a class, we'll be giving a class to this home card, right? So let's give it a class. First of all, the class name will be let's say home card. Okay, home card, yeah, fine. And then we'll be adding some other stuff. Let's give it a card extra background. And what is this extra background? When I will show that to you. So when I hover over, you see a blackish background comes into picture, right? So that blackish background is a separate div. So when I hover over that, I make the opacity of that particular div to 1 so that it is visible, right? So that's what we are going to do. So I will say div dot say something, div dot card, let's say extra background, extra bg, and let it be so, nothing in it is needed, so it will be styling it separately. Then I'll say div dot card content. Here will be our content, the complete content for our card. So let's create it, and in this card content we'll be giving an h3, let's say h3. So title. Now in this part we are passing in props. I'll be explaining it, don't worry about that. I'll be explaining everything in detail, so don't worry about that, okay? And then let's add a break br, so that it just gives a space after that particular h3, right? And then here we'll be giving some content, that is the next paragraph kind of text, right? So let's say content in there, content, that's it. Now we need to pass in props here. Now it should show an error according to me because the props are not there, but let's see. Okay, it's not showing it, don't worry about that, we'll be passing in the props here. So first of all, we need to pass the props, right? So we will be passing them from the home bottom.js. So first of all, let's create a card here. Inside this home bottom cards, we have to import that component, right? So let's get going to home bottom.js, and in this home bottom.js we'll be adding our cards. So there are too many cards which we will be adding there, so I need some time to copy it. So I'll be stopping the recording and playing it again after I copy that. So guys, now I copied the text, and let me just import that home card.js first of all. So I'll say home card, and it's imported, and now I don't need it, so I'll paste the things. So now let's see what is actually happening here. So first of all, I am passing a color here, okay? And now why am I passing a color? Let me show that to you. So here, see, I have just passed it randomly while building this. If you don't pass it, then also it's okay. I will show it to you later on if what happens if we don't pass it and why I actually pass it. So first of all, let me explain that why I have actually passed it in. So while collecting the images as the background for these cards, you can see that some backgrounds are dark and this one is light. So what I thought was, I will give this card the color of this text in here will be black and here it will be white, but later on I got to know that it will not look so good, and I just removed that and made everything white and just added this cool hover effect later on, right? Later on. And now let's get going for the next step. What is the next step? Explain this. Okay, I'm explaining it. I have given that color here. This is just the data, we are not styling it from here itself. I will tell you that how it is going to be. So this is just a passing of data, that I am passing some variable color as white. The value of that particular color is white. Same thing here. We have an img and we have its link up here. This is the link of the image which I am passing as the data img. Then we have the title which is here, this stuff terrain tires, and then we are passing in the content which is this next text. Okay, so now we need to get this text in our home card.js, and now let's head back to our home card.js, and here we'll be importing this stuff. So for that you can do two things. There are two methods to get the props. So first of all, you will call these things which you are passing in from here you will be calling them as props. Okay, just remember this. I'll enter props, and now what can I do? In place of this title, I can say props dot title, and then here I can say props props dot content. And now this content should come right here. Let me show that to you. So some error, let me see. Title is not defined. Okay, they are saying that something title is not there, but I have defined it, I know. Okay, let's try refreshing it, and now it's good. And you see the title and the text has been passed down the props. Okay, so what is actually happening here? I am passing all that data we are giving here, this color, img and content, all that stuff, and we are getting that stuff as props.title. You know JavaScript objects, right? That where we are getting it. If we have an object, say object name, object person, then how will we get that object person? We'll say that obj dot name. So let's say we have an object name. Okay, let me explain you completely. Okay, now let's say we have a object called person, and in here we have this object, say name. I will say my name Ashish. Right now, how are you getting this name here? If you have to get this name, how will you get it? You will just say person dot name, right? You'll say this, right? So the same thing is actually happening here also. We'll say props and props dot title. This is one way. What is the another way you said about? So instead of getting this this way, that is dot props dot and all this stuff, you can actually get what do we say, that dissociate into disassociate them into pieces. And let's do that. I'll add title here, and then content here, and content, not content. Okay, that's a lot of comedy. And then I will say img, and then the color one, we just added that to be white, right? So that one. So we have just imported all this stuff separately. Previously we added props and got all of them and then passed them in as props dot title, but now we can actually do them directly as title and directly as content. No need to add props back again. Now if I save this, you should be able to see the same stuff, and the same error again. Props is not defined. I just removed the props. So if I refresh it, it's gonna load everything perfectly, and yeah, you see it's still there, right? It's still there. Now we actually need to style our car. So now let me tell you that how you can create styling in this homecard.js itself. We are not going to homecard.css, right? We are directly going to we are directly styling from this homecard.js itself. I'm just telling this that how you can style it from this itself. I'm just telling you we can either do it from homecard.css also, but no worries. Okay, so I'm just creating a object, say const card style. Okay, and then like so. Just remember that there is no error, but you can see that this name is getting highlighted. But if I hover over that, you can see it is declared, but its value is never read. So it's just showing because I have never used that anywhere. But if I will use that, it is not an error, it just works perfectly. So don't worry about that. And now in this object we have to create the stylings. Now the first one will be background. It will not show you any suggestions, just remember that. And we have to do everything as an object, right? So create quotes, and in this quotes, as we use css, that's how we are gonna use this also. So actually in this background I have to get the image, right? So I will be using backticks here. If you are using Windows, it will be available above your tab button, so press that. Okay, and here I'll be adding URL, and in this URL I will be adding the image part. So I'll using $sign and then curly braces, and in here I will passing img. Just see one thing, that whenever I am passing in props and variables in my JSX, then I am passing them within the curly braces. That's what you have to keep in mind. If you are doing some or JavaScript array maps or using some for loops, anything you had to do within this curly braces itself if you are running them inside some JSX text. Okay, so this is one of the styling. Then you need to add a comma so that you can add some other stylings also. Okay, then we are giving a background size of say cover, let's say cover. And you have to need to see some another thing also. If this thing is in CSS, let me show you that how it's going to be. Let's say dot home card. I will type background size. Here you have a dash in between and everything is small, but here you see it not everything is small. The next thing is camel cased and we don't have any dash up here. So that's what I'm talking about. In the reactjs file you have to do it so itself, so right. And now let's get going. And after this cover I'll be having a background repeat of no repeat, and I don't actually need this, but if you want you can also add it, but I'll be adding it because it just gives me satisfaction, because I am used to it. That I have to add it definitely. If I am changing the background with a picture, I definitely need to add it. That's what my intention says, so I'm just doing that. Because sometimes some error came in some browser, so I just actually add it. And I too recommend you to add it only. Don't just ignore it, add it, okay? For safety purposes, okay? Then let's go with color. And the color is also a prop which we are passing in from here, and I'll just say backticks back again, and then $sign, and then this $sign we have color. And after color we have one more thing, that is background position to be centered. Okay, background position to be centered. That's it. Now it is there, and now let us just add that style here. Now how you're going to add that style, go to this div which we have to add style, then hit style and just add open curly braces, and in this curly braces add this name, that is card style. Okay, and save it, and the style will be there. And now you see some of the styling is there, the background positioning and all the stuff is right there, and the rest of the things we will be doing with the CSS, okay, not our JavaScript, because that will be time taking. So the rest of the thing I will be doing with homecard.css. okay, so we have already imported it, so let's get going, guys. So that's now you may also think that why I didn't do it in homecard.css if I am just actually able to do it faster. So what is the main reason? I said that I want to show it to you, so yes, I also thought about that, so I just did that. But another reason is that we are passing in props and we need to render those props up here, right? So that's why I added them up here. I can't take these props to .css file, so that's the reason. Okay, that's why I created it in .js file only. And now let's head back to homecard.css, and now we need to do some random stylings. Okay, now let's go to home card, and then I will give a random margin for each one of them, that is 20 pixels. Okay, let's do one thing. I'll make it short, I'll make the screen short, so I need not switch the windows back again and again. And let's get it to half, and now it's good. So we have margin 20 pixels, and after this margin 20 pixels, let me give it a fixed width for each one of them, 300 pixels, and fixed height. That will be 300 pixels only. And if I save it, you see it's changed, and now it's looking good. Actually, now it's actually good. Okay, and then I'll just do a random styling for each one of this home card, each element of this home card. Let's add a transition so that when I hover over them, they changes like a smooth butter. You see, if I hover over anything, everything changes as a smooth butter. But let's leave it for now. If needed, we will be adding it later on. It's not so necessary, it's just a transition effect, that's it. So I'll be talking about that later on if needed. Okay, so don't worry about that. Then we have that br. We had to decrease the size of the br because you can see that this height here is a lot, but I don't want that height. This is a bit lesser here, and but here it is too large, so let's make that thing lesser. So home card br. Okay, so home cards br, and then I'm just saying margin to be 0 so that it doesn't have any margin up here, and it just actually becomes less. And later on, let's just give it a height. Okay, so I actually think that this thing is not needed, but if necessary we'll be adding it. I just added them because we can just make this height smaller, but I think we can actually do it with a transform property or something else. Let's get going and we will see about it later on. So now we need to style this extra background, but before that I'll be styling the other parts. Okay, so let's go with dot card content, and yeah, and now I'll give it a margin. Each card content will have its own margin. That means that all this stuff will have a separate margin from the borders. Okay, this one up here and this one up here. That's all. That's what I'm talking about. And where is card content? Card content is up here. Okay, too smooth. Let's see what is it up here. Okay, fine. And now let's close this home bottom.js, and now let's style further. And then I want to give some other stylings also. Okay, so I am up this stuff that is we can say, let's add that hover effect on that card content. Okay, it will be dot home card. Whenever we hover over our home card, just do something. So dot hover, or say semicolon hover, dot card content, and change this card content a bit. And how will we do that? We'll make it position absolute, and then we'll be saying just increase its z index so that it's above the extra background, that black background, and give them a padding from right, because that background will take some space, right of 20 pixels. And after this 20 pixels, we'll be giving it a fixed width of say 260 pixels. And now let's have a look. Not here, up here. You see there are some changes, right? Something is happening here, but what is actually happening? For that we need to edit that stuff also. Let's uncomment this, and then let me add a transition first of all, which I talked about at the beginning. So I'll just go with dot home card, each and every element from dot home card, give them a transition of say 0.2 seconds is, and yeah. And now we actually need to style that extra background. So dot card underscore ext underscore bg, and make its position absolute, and after this absolute position give it a margin of 0, and then width inherit, give it a width which we are giving to the card itself. Inherit that width, that is 300 pixels. Same thing with height, inherit, and then give it a background color which will be black only, RGBA 0,0,0,0.7. okay, and now you see that black background is up there. And after this we just need to give it an opacity 0, because we want its opacity to be more when it's so. Now you see I said that their z index is becoming more, and now you see that opacity is 0, and then if I say its z index to be 1, so that it just goes below that text, and now it's actually below that text. And now there are some changes, right? And now we need to add an hover effect for this card content also. For what? This card dot card extra bg, not card content, I mean. So we are going to say dot home card, or you can just say dot home card. Yes, I'm sorry, I just, okay, no errors. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, just doing, that's it. So okay, this is dot card content. Yeah, now we need to replace it with dot that card extra bg, and here we'll be making its opacity to be 1. And you see this, now it's coming smoothly. And now you realize that why I added this stuff, so that everything, each and everything happens smoothly. But there is some other styling also, that is, it's not looking so good. Let's see what we can do for that. Okay, let me just check what we can do about that. Guys, I just added this dot over here, so that's what was the mistake. I don't need to add that, I actually don't want that. I removed it and I hit it save, and now you see everything in center and everything is awesome. Right now everything is looking good and perfect. Now if I want to say something, that this thing is much better than my hosted one. You see, when I hover over, you see that this text just changes its width, but in here it's much better, it stays as still, so it's much better than that, right? So let's just do this, just remove this margin 20 pixels from here, paste it up here, and remove this stuff and save it. And as before, as slick as before, it's working like butter. And now we actually need to style this home bottom. Now we just need to style this home bottom, but before that we need to add a responsive text, so that whenever you see, when the phone we know that phones are slim, right? So we need to style it for about that, so that when there is a phone, just make everything small. Now you can see this is taking full width, but we don't want full width. iPhone X, you can see something like this, you see it's going there. So we need to do some styling for it. So I'll open this and I'll go here, and let's add a media, and I will say max width to be 320 pixels. Okay, that will be fine, 320 pixels. And in this we'll say dot home card, and in this dot home card we'll just say it'll reduce its margin to 10 pixels, and then make its width to 250 pixels. This is 320 pixels, right? For some phones which are too slim, not slim, which are too slim, because most of the phones width is more than 300. Here you can see it is 375 for iPhone X, and for everything it's almost more than 350, or you can say 340. But for this phone, which is 5SC, it's 320 exactly. So we need to style it for that, so that our website is perfect in each and every device, not one and the other. Okay, no one should talk bad about our site, that's why I'm doing so. And then let's just say height of 300 pixels, and now it should be good. And now you see it's good, and we can just actually reduce the width, or you can say what do we say, that just reduce this card contents width. How will we do that? It's dot card content, and let's say dot home card dot card content, not card extbg, card content, it's card content. Just do something like width, we give it a width of 250, so just do 230 pixels. Okay, now it should be all good, and now you see it's good. Okay, so this is how we are styling our things, so that everyone appreciates us. So that's the reason. Okay, now let's close this mobile view, close this stuff, and make it half screen. And now let's style our home bottom.css. So let me close this cards and head back to home bottom.js and see if I have already imported my style sheet. Yes, I imported it. So let's go to homecard.css, and then not homecard.css, I want to talk about home bottom.css, which is up here. So here there is not much styling, a bit of styling, that is we just need to make their display flex and give it a flex wrap. Along with just we need to style this part, text it align at the center and give a black background. That's what we need to do. Okay, so let's say dot home bottom, a width of 100 view width. Okay, now it's good. And then I'll just say background color to be black, and then padding. So guys, I just want to tell you one thing, that if you are not developing it alongside me, there's no problem. Just understand that what are the things I am doing in this project, because I am gonna give you the source code at the last episode of this series. So don't worry about the code, it will be there with you. Just understand. Okay, just understand how things are working. That's it. And now what else I'm going to do is just style this h2. So I'll say home bottom space h2, home bottoms, the dot home bottoms give me its h2, and I'll just give it a font size of say 2 rems, and then I'll give it a color of white, and then I will be saying text align to the center, go to the center. I don't want you at the left side. Okay, now it should be at the center, and now it's good. Now we actually didn't style this empty section, we actually need to style it, or I just made some mistake here. Okay, let's see, app.js, not tab.js, it's home.js. so here it's empty only. So why isn't it working here if it's working up there? So let me hide this up. And now here, if it is working here, why isn't it working at the next thing here, right? This one, let me see. Okay, it's there. This is an error from something else, which I'll be styling it now. So home bottom. Okay, we have to make the background of the complete website, right? So I'll just go to app.css, then I will just say something like this. Let me tell you, let's give it a background color of black, and now it should be all right, and now it is all right. And I said that I will just remove the scroll bar, so let's do that. And I will head back to index.css, and here I will say, what will we do? We will just say body something like this, webkit scroll bar display none, and it should be hide. And yeah, now it's not there, and as it is as good as butter. Right now it looks so slick, so cool, not slow cool. I don't know what I am talking, but I am talking what I don't know. Okay, let's get going. Okay, now here, after styling this h2, we need to style the cards, right? So I'll just say I will select the section first of all in which these cards are present. So I'll say dot home bottom dot cards, and in these cards we just need to say their display flex so that they are side by side, and I'll just say flex direction row for it, which is the default, so I don't actually need to add it. And I'll just say wrap, flex wrap to be wrap, because when there is no more space, so that there can be new card, they just came out, or just say came in the next row. And then I'll just give it a width of 100 view width, so that it's take the full size, justify content to the center, so that everything is in the center, align items also at the center, so that everything is centered column wise. And then let's add a media query, so that when I go to a mobile view, this h2 becomes small and doesn't create any bad effect. I'll just say @ media max width 500 pixels, and in this 500 pixels we just need to style that. What do we say? Dot home bottoms h2, make its font size a bit smaller, that is 1.5 rems, and Now it should be good for mobile view also. Let's see. If I press F12 and go to this mobile view, you see it should be smaller. I'll just go here. Now you should see it going bigger or becoming smaller. Okay, I don't see it working. Let's see what actually happened. Okay, a semicolon is missing here. Now it should be working. Let me refresh it once. Yeah, now it's becoming small. Okay, now it's working like butter. Okay, now let's get going. Now this is the thing we just made till now, right? Now we actually need to work on our header. So just take a break, guys. Just take a break for at least 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, just take a break. Pause the video and breath for some time. Just take some, what do we say, just take some oxygen so that it's do good for you, right? So that your brain functions perfectly. Okay, now let's get going. So first of all, what will I be doing? I'll be creating more components, that is our header component. So let's get going for the header.js, and I'll create one file, say header.js. So just make sure that you always name your files with capital letter. Okay, now it's header.js, and let me just make it, what do we say, that React JavaScript back again. Now it's good. Let me close this home bottom.css and home.css. Now it's all good, and let's get going. Now before some days this icon was different, but now it is different. I don't know why, but let's see. I had some theme called material icon theme, which was so good. So I'll just say material icon. And is it installed? No, I don't think so. If I click on it, okay, it's JavaScript React. It should change it. There should be this icon, but I don't see that icon. I don't know why, but that's time waste. Let's leave it for now. I think it was some different theme, so I don't actually remember which the name of that theme. So I will, if I know, if I remember the name of that particular theme, I'll just tell you about that. Okay, don't worry about that. And now let's give it a class name. What will it be? The class name for this section will be header. Okay, so let's give it a name that will be header, and let's create a style sheet for this one also. So let's get going, and header.css, let's import the stuff. Cool. And now after this we just need to give some okay. So first of all, we'll be creating this div dot something called what do we say that, let's give it a name, just a random name. Okay, I will be creating no divs here. I just need to give an h1 here. Let's give an h1 and say ride on track. Okay, I got to remember something. Okay, let me just explain what was an error when I was building this stuff, building this original piece of website. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, let me say that I'm in a different component. So I'm in a different component right now. So what was actually happening is, if I click here in this header section up at the bottom, up at the top, so it was directly going to this home page again. If I click here also, it's going to the home page again, but I don't want that, right? I don't want that shit to happen. So when I click on here, nothing, it should not go to home back again, home.js, but it should go only when I click here, that is on this one. So it's working then. So let's just see that how it is working. Let me show that to you. Okay, let me go here, elements. If I go to this root, this class, this header here, this is a fake div which covers the other part, leaving this header, right? And after that we have our header here. So we'll be just fixing that stuff, and let me just make it small back again. Cool. Make it half. I don't know why it's not half, but let me just do it on my own. Now it's good. Okay, we have an h1 here. Where is it? I actually need to style it and then import it so that it's at the top. Right, now let's give it a style of, say, something I don't know. We'll be doing that with header.css. Okay, so let's go to header.css, create your file, and then what I will be doing, I will be just styling that dot header. So I'll just say dot header, and in this dot header we will be making its position to be fixed so that it's always at the top. And after positioning fixed, I want it to be at extremely top, and from left it should be 0. And then we just want to say from right it's also 0, but no need. If we have given it from left, then I will say 100 view width and 100 view width, and after that I'll just give it a color of, say, white, and after this we'll just be giving it some padding from all sides, which will be 0, 10 pixels, I'll say 5 pixels, and then 10 pixels. Okay, now it's all good. Now it should be there. I don't know why, because we didn't imported it in our app.js. Let's go here and say header.js should be somewhere, but I don't see it anywhere. Why do I don't see it? I don't know. I think this time I need to import it on my own, so don't worry about that. I will be doing it. So let's just copy this for home and just say call it header, and here I'll be changing it to header.js, and yeah, boom. And now let's just say header, and yeah, now you see this text at the top, and now it's working all good. And then we need to style this, or what do we say, that our h1. So dot headers, give me its h1, and after this h1 give it a width of 180 pixels, and then I will say text align, not text decoration, it's text align. Okay, what is coming? Let me just close it up. Text align to the center, and after this I just want to say not center actually, because I want to make it at the right, so I will not give it center, I'll make it right, so that it's absolutely at the right. Now it will not be at the right because I am making this complete h1 to the right by making its position absolute or relative something, I don't know right now, but we will just figure it out in a few minutes. And let's give it some margin, say 0, 0, 0, and auto. And now what does this margin do? It just says that from top, from right, from bottom it's 0, but from left it's automatic. I mean, if from right it is 0, from left it is automatic that it will auto take this width whatever is left at the left margin, so it will take all that stuff. Let me just close this app.js and create a fake div here. I'll just say dot fkdiv, short form for fake div, whatever comes in our mind, let's just do that. And let's select it, header dot fake underscore div. Alright, and just say give it a height same as our header, which we want, that is 50 pixels, and then I will be giving it a width by calculating. You know that we can calculate widths in CSS. Let me show you how. You press calc open up some brackets and then say whatever you want to calculate. I'll say 100 view width minus 200 pixels. Why I'm doing this? Because you can see here I gave 180 pixels, so I want 200 pixels this time, because it will be around 200 pixels only, so that's the reason I'm doing that. Now why does this shit stuff came down? Because this fake div take its place. Let me show that to you. Background color red. Now you see that's why it came down. Now let's just say that we'll be doing is background transparent, not red, and just remove this red color. Now it's transparent, and then we will say position to be absolute so that our main header comes up, that is this text. And then we just need not do anything, we just need to add a effect that whenever we scroll it just turns black. So first of all, let's create a class for that so that it's working like butter. So nav black, we will be adding this class with js, not directly. I'll just say background color to be black, so whenever we scroll it turns blackish. So let's go head back to header.js and style and add the code for this stuff. So there is one more thing you need to know, right? Something called as use effect and use state. So what if you want to have a value? Let me just explain you with code. So first of all, we need to import them also. These things are called React hooks. You can use them in functional components, not class components. Class components are not actually used, so I'm not telling you about them, because in almost every time you don't use it, so it's useless. But some people use it, it's their choice, but I don't think you will be using it, so I'm not explaining about that. But if you want a video, I'll make a separate video on it later on. If you want, you can just tell me in the comment section so that I could explain you about that. Okay, so now we have imported them. Now just forward this. You have to import anything you want to use. Okay, now first of all I will explain you about use state. So how we are going to now, let me just add this stuff, use state, and it's a snippet. Okay, how will you define a use state? You will define like a const, and then you will create an array in which this is a variable and this is a function which will set your variable. Okay, now how are we going to do? Initial state will be false. Initially the state of this use state will be false. Just forget this use state text here. It's just the thing from the syntax, that's it. It's just syntax. Just remember that this is our initial state. Initially the state should be false, just remember that. And why are we setting this state? Because it's scroll. Now why am I doing this? Let me explain. Whenever I scroll below 100 pixels, say 100 pixels, whenever I scroll 100 pixels to the down, then what you do, just change this state to true. Just change this state to true after scrolling down for 100 pixels. That's what I want to do with this use state. So let's name it perfectly. For that I will just say scroll and set scroll. You can give any name, just remember that it should be set scroll or maybe not here, it's your choice. Okay, now let me explain you what is use effect. What is use effect? Yes, so use effect is something like window.onload in JavaScript. If you know that window.onload is something which happens, why is it showing, what is it showing? React use is called a function that is neither a React function component custom React hook. React component must start with an uppercase letter. I don't know what's happening here, but it's because of this use state here. because we have not used it anywhere, and now if I save it, it should be working fine. Okay, I'll be adding it later on, don't worry. So what is this use state? It is similar to window.onload. Now what is window.onload? When the website or your web page is completely loaded, then run this effect. That is what use state defines about. So I will say use effect, not use state, use effect. Sorry about that, and just remove this written and here. Now our code comes up here in this empty space. And what is this stuff? I'll be explaining about that, don't worry about that. Okay, so first of all, let's add our code. So we'll be adding an window.event listener, which is scroll. Add event listener, which is our scroll, and in this scroll we'll be adding an arrow function. I hope you know about arrow functions, which are from ES6, right? And I'll say if window dot scroll, if window is scroll y, because we are scrolling it vertically, scroll y is more than 300 pixels, then set this scroll, let me just uncomment this, set this scroll to true, that now this scroll should become true after 300 pixels is scrolled out. Else if it is just why are we giving else here? Actually I think I don't need, but we actually need it. I'll be explaining about that, don't worry. Else false. So now I haven't saved it yet, why are you happening so? Okay, now whenever I scroll down you should become black, but whenever I scroll up back again you should become plain as well. So you see it is becoming black, and then it is again becoming white, or I mean transparent. So that's what we want to do. Now let's just uncomment this stuff here, and now we actually need that class we created here on scroll, right? So now we'll be adding that. As I explained you before, we need to include everything which we are just doing from outside either than JS6 within curly braces, right? So let's just do that. So I'll add curly braces up here, and I'll remove this dot header. I'll be adding it header back again, as I said, header. Let's add backticks for our convenience and header, and then I'll be saying something like $sign and this. Now I'm going to use ternary operator. And what is ternary operator? It's just a short thing. Let me just explain you. If you have an if condition which is true, in this case we have scroll. So if scroll is true, what you do, you just return something like return hello world. Else what you do, else return something else, else return bye. Now let me just format it once so that you could see everything much better. Just forgot this because it's just because I want it to be a comment. Now this means that if the scroll variable is true, if its value is true, or if it's not null, it exists, then return hello world, else return bye. That's what ternary operator actually means. So that's what we are adding here. If this scroll is true, then add this stuff. I will explain about this and just wait a bit. Add nav black class. If it is, why this use effect is not working? Okay, just forgot about that. It's not used actually. It's not an actual error. I show you. React hook use state is called a function header that is neither React component. Okay, let me make it big so that you could see perfectly. React hook use state is called in function header, this one, that is neither a React function component nor a custom React hook function. Okay, it is saying that it's not a component, but it is a component, bro. Let us check more about it. And then it is saying that React component names must start with an uppercase letter. It's uppercase only, bro. I don't know what actually happened here. It's uppercase only. He's showing shitty errors to us. I don't know why. But React hook use effect is called in function header. That is neither a React function header. Okay, that's the only error. We just named it as h, small h, so we actually need to make it capital H. And yeah, now it's working. Let me make small, and now it's perfect. Okay, now if I scroll down, you see it's styling, right? You see it's styling, right? That's what I talked about. Okay, this was just because I just made it small edge. That's it, nothing else than that. Okay, so now I told you about this. I will explain you about this and right. So if scroll is there, just add nav black and do nothing. There is no else function, just add nav black. That's it. If scroll is there, else do nothing. That's about it. That is this and that's it, guys. Now if you see here, I scroll down, it's working fine. Now we need to make it like this, but it's not actually, because here is some extra space. I need to do that from our styling. That's because of our styling stuff. That is something in our home.css. We need to fix it. So let's have a look on it. I'll go to home.css. Where is it? Where is our home.css? I don't see it anywhere. Header, home.js. Do we have a home.css? Okay, it's home style.css. Here it is. No, I had to check that why it is actually happening. So why I have an extra space here, that is because of this padding. We actually need to change this padding to from top 50 pixels, from left right I want it to be 0, and now it should be fixed. Yeah, it is actually, but not perfectly. Let's give it something, say 10 pixels, and now it is having the perfect space as in here, right? Okay, and now everything is fine, and then we actually need to do something else in the header.css also. What is it? Let's transform this h1 back again a little left side. Translate not z, I want to translate x, minus 20 pixels. Will it work? Yeah, now it's perfectly fine for us. Now it is looking super cool. Okay, this much part is done, guys, and now again we need to work for our nav.js, and then the last part will be our, what do we say, that our footer dial. So we have to make two more things. Let's work for it. So guys, before we start working for the navbar, let's see that why there is more space here. Here there is no more space, but here there is actually more space. So let's fix that. So I'll just remove this home brs from this home.js. Where is it? Here, up here. Where is these brs? I don't know actually. Okay, we didn't add any brs here, but what is actually happening here? So in our home one, we have this bike info, right? Dot bike info, which is up here. Where is our bike info? This stuff up here, bike info. This is our bike info, all this content up here. So let's style that. And now what I'll be just saying is display, make its display to flex, and then make their justify content to the left, and then flex, make their flex direction to be column, and this should be at the flex end, not left, and then align items at the left. Now it should be working all good, and we just need to do something different. I don't know what actually happened, why this text became big, I don't know. Okay, align items at the flex end. Okay, flex end. Okay, this should be bottom baseline. Now did something happen? I don't actually know what is actually happening here. So we can do one more thing, that transform each of these things to the bottom part, just like this one. Or I think it is actually because of this font happening here. I didn't added any BRs or anything, which is not absolutely needed, but we have to import some font here, right? So that font will be adding later on, not now. We'll be checking it about it later on, why it is happening. So just leave it up for now, and we'll be working on our what? We'll be working on our nav now. Let's work for our navbar. So first of all, we have to create those files, that is our nav.js and nav.css, to work with them. So I'll say nav.js, and then I will be saying not here, I'll just be saying nav.css. CSS, now it's good. And let's just close all the other stuff here. From home, close this stuff, and cool. Let's say RFCE, let's say React JavaScript. Oh, now you see it actually turned. So you see, I was talking about this icon at the top. Now you see it's changed actually. Sometimes this happens due to CPU usage and all that other stuff. So let's head back to the nav.css. I mean, just let's import it, and after importing we can just work with it like butter. So I have to import it. What am I doing? Let's say import ./nav.css, and let's give it a class name, or yeah, let's give it a class name. Now guys, there is actually a bit more work here, because we are using material UI and other stuff here, and we have some on click events and all this stuff. So please pays a bit of focus to this stuff here, because we are building something important this time, and this is almost available in each and every website you have to create for your future projects, right? So let's create it. I'll say .nav, and then after this we have a button which we'll be importing from material UI itself. Now how will we work with material UI? But before that, let's import our nav.js in the app.js. After header, I will be doing that. Nav, and cool. Now you need to go to materialui.com. Go here, say material-ui.com, and you will be available here. You'll be here, and now just copy this npm install material UI core. Just copy this stuff, and what you actually need to do, go to your terminal, press Ctrl J, go to PowerShell, and paste it in here. So I'll paste it, hit enter, and it will download some files, and it usually takes a bit of time depending on your internet connection and all. And yeah, now it started installing it. So let's have a look and wait for some time so that it complete its work. So guys, now as you can see it's installed here. We need to install one more thing, that is that icons part. So just search for icons here, icons, press here, click, and then you need to install this. Oh, what is this? Just remember, I need to press this S in the terminal because it doesn't copy it. So now if I hit enter, it will install that stuff. Okay, if you are using yarn later on, if you are using yarn after learning your personal skills and if you become a great developer sooner, I hope that you will definitely become, but yarn is actually faster than npm, and later on I'll make a tutorial on it if I start using it. Right now I also actually use npm, so if I use yarn I'll make a tutorial on it. And then click here, search the full list of icons, and then now we need to import these icons here. So how are we going to import those icons? First of all, we need that icon. What is the name of that icon? That is our menu button. So I will search for menu here. You will see we want this icon. I will click on it, and here we need to import this stuff, but let's check if it is installed or not. And yeah, the stuff is installed. Now we don't need to install anything else. Don't worry, this will not take a lot of space, just some, it will just install some basic dependencies and everything up here in this node modules. It will install everything up here. Okay, and let's get going. So first of all, we need to import that menu icon, and you just need to copy it, paste it here, and boom, it's imported. And now we need to use this, and in this button we have not here actually, I need to do that in the nav.js. Let me close this app.js, and here now in this button I will add this menu icon, add it as a tag. I'll press menu icon here at the bottom. I have this suggestion and so, and I will give it a font size of say medium. That's it. Okay, and now you should see the icon here. You see it actually. Here is our icon, and then we need to do some basic stylings and other stuff, right? So now let's get going, right? So I have to do some other div elements here. So I'll just say div dot class name. Okay, wait, we will create our class name with what do we say that, with our use state. So we actually need to create some use states back again. As I've explained you previously, we just need to do the same thing, comma, curly braces, use state, and use effect. Are we using use effect here? No, I think we will not use it. So just import use state, and as we install that React snippets part, just press use state, enter, and you will see this one, the square bracket one, and just name it. Say I'll say Navbar, and it will automatically set here set Navbar, and the initial state will be false, that the Navbar is not present for now. I will save this part, and then we'll just be adding the class here. Okay, so let's add backticks back again. No, this time we don't need backticks, we can directly do it with curly braces. So if navbar is there, if this navbar is present, then add nav content along with nav open, else add nav content along with nav close. That's what I want to do here. Okay, fine. And then here I need to give a class name of say nav underscore items, right? And then what we can actually do is nothing, just that's it, that's what we want to do, and cool, right? Later on I will also tell you that how here in this website, if I open the stuff here and if I click on here, it closes it, right? And later on we will also be doing that, but for now I will not be doing that. I will just tell you that how you are gonna close it from here only, not from here. I will do that in the next episode or later on, just okay. So now let's get going. So we have this nav items, and in this nav items, let's create a ul. Let's create a ul, and in this ul we are going to have some lis and some icons along with them. So how many lis do we have? We have 4 lis, and that's it. And the first one will be home, and the second one will be bikes, and the third one will be what? The third one will be about us, and the next one will be not so okay, and the next one will be contact us. Okay, now you should see them up here, fine. And then we actually need to add those icons like home icon, the bike icon, some icons randomly. So I'll just go to our browser bar again. In the material UI I will search for home icon here. So I'll just get this one, copy this one, copy this one, and say home icon here. Okay, fine. Then we need to get a bike icon, so close it back again. I'll get this one, go here, and then just import it, motorcycle icon, and just say it up here, motorcycle icon, and save. Then we want about us, so I will just have a group icon for that. I'll search for group here, and you see this one. Actually, which one that I used here? Okay, I think it's this one only, so let's just copy it, and paste it up here. Then if I take that group icon, and if I take now I want another contact us, I'll just search for contact, and let's take one from here. What did I use here? Message icon. I just took a message icon, so let me search for chat so that I could get one. So this one, copy it, take that, I mean not here, take here, and just enter, say chat bubble icon, and boom, we have each and everything we wanted, and they are here actually if I show that to you, but we need to style them so that we could see everything perfectly, right? So let's get going to nav.css. Have I imported that? Yes, but before that we need to define some functions, like an on-click function where I am changing this, where I am actually opening. So let's first of all define a function. Okay, so I'll use an arrow function from ES6 syntax. So I'll say open nav. We have a function called open nav, which is an arrow function, and here I will just say if navbar is there, if navbar is there, set navbar to false. I mean close it, close the navbar, set navbar to false. Else if navbar is not there, else navbar is false, set navbar to true. That's what I want to do from this open nav. Now in this button we will just give an on click function, and that's it. I will say on click, and instead of this I will do this curly braces, and here we will run an arrow function, and we will call our open nav function. And now this thing should work absolutely. And to check it, let's tile r, so that for us, let's check it. Okay, first of all let's check it. I'll just say log, it's a snippet guys. I'll say who, save it, press F12 so that my console opens up. Go to console, clear the console. If I click on it, I don't know why it's not happening, but it should work. Let's see. Okay, I see there is some error, some mistake. I want this button to be above this stuff, so that it's above the R, it's always present, because if I include that in here it's not gonna work. And we actually removed a div, say div dot nav. We actually removed this, and if I close this, and now everything should be good. Now I don't see, and now here we can paste that button, and now it should work. But I forgot to remove something. Let's close this, let's close this, and if I remove this stuff from here and paste this, and it should work like butter back again. But no, I see some error. Okay, you don't have a closing tag, so you are for what? This is for what? Let's see. This one is closed, this one is closed, but the main one is not closed guys, so we have to close it. And now everything should be fine. And I see some error. No errors. And why it is not logging anything? Okay, we have to see for it. Okay, let me just say that if navbar is true, I don't know that why this open nav is not working. I just said on click, on an arrow function, say open nav. Just call this function. That's it. Okay. Or instead of this arrow function, I can just do this. Yeah, now it's working, I guess. If I refresh it, is it working? No, too many re-renders. Okay, open nav, we can't add it, so we just need to do the thing we did previously, and yeah, boom, it came back again. Okay, that is because I have not returned it here. If I return it, it will definitely work. And let's say return, and if I do it now, okay, just leave this guys, I'm not able to do it, but let me do it. Just give me some time so that I could fix this thing and come upon back again. So guys, now I have figured out that why that was actually happening. It was because the stuff, what do we say, in this app.js I have imported this header before this. We actually need to import it before only, but we have actually need to I mean that it is coming above that, so that I'm not able to click on that particular button. But now if I remove that, I mean if I hide that, and you see if I go here, if I click, you see who here, this text up here. So I struggled a lot for it. I just forgot that what I just I was not just getting that why it is not actually happening, and if you see this now, it will not actually happen. So I will close it and just remove this, do this, and boom. Now it should be all right. And now we can just go on for nav.css and style it actually. So I think we have actually completed everything from our here, from this nav.js. Later on, if we are working on with React router, then we can go with the other things, the leftover things. So let's go with .nav, and let's just say z-index. Let's just say z-index 99, a lot above in 3D dimension. Then I'll say nav content. Let's say its position to be fixed, and then I will say from top 0, from left 0, and then I will give it a background of say RGB 20, 20, 20. That's what we're gonna say. And then I will say color to be white. All the color in there is white, and then I will give it a height of 100 view heights, and then I will say that let's give it a padding of 10 pixels from all sides, and then let's give it a transition to be 0.2 seconds, so that when I open it, it should come with a smooth transition. 0.2 second ease, or you can just say 0.2 second, that would be much better. And then let's give it also a z-index of 99, so that it's also at top. And now you see it, we have our icons and everything, and now we need to style it. So first of all, let's give it a class name, this button a class name. Let's say menu btn. I'll just say menu underscore btn, and then we'll be later on styling for that also. And then let's style that menu btn. So menu underscore btn, and I will just say its color to be white, and then I will just say background to be transparent, and then I will say border to be none, and then I will say outline to be none, and then we'll just say position to be fixed, and it should not move anywhere even if I scroll. And then I will just say from top be 7 pixels, and from left you be 10 pixels. And then I can do some other styling, that would be give it a padding from all sides, that would be just say 5 pixels. And then I will talk about its display. Let's say its display is flex, and then I will say justify content to the center, and then we will talk about align items at the center. And then after we say align items at the center, let's give it a border radius so that it becomes circle, then 50%. And after this border radius, let's make it z-index 99, so that it's even above those nav items and things background to it. So now it's actually above them. And now what we can actually do is we can define some other things, like say .nav underscore items. And for this .nav items, what we can do is say display flex, so that everything is aligned perfectly. Flex direction to be column, and after this column, what I can say is we actually need to add this display flex and flex column later on, where in our in our UL, in the UL we have created, not actually here. So I'll just say margin top, because we actually have that particular button at the top. So let's give it a margin top of say 60 pixels, which actually comes after our header. And now everything will be a little bottom. Okay, and then we have this ULs A, which we'll be doing later on. Okay, so what okay, let me just tell it right now. So we have we have these buttons. So in here, these buttons are actually links. We'll be adding that link from React router, not with the actual A tag. So that's why just wait for it. We will be doing that thing also. So just wait for it. Then we have .nav.css, and let's get going. And I will just say what will we say. For now, let's style that a as li. Okay, so I'll just say dot nav items. I will say li ul. From that ul give me that li. Okay, I will just say display to be flex, because there are two things, right? And width inherit, the width, align items at the center, and give it a transition of 0.2 seconds. 0.2 seconds ease. Okay, and after that, what are we going to do? We just need to add a cool hover effect on that, and I'll paste it. Let's add hover, and in this hover we are going to have transform, translate what? Translate x, take it a bit left, translate x 10 pixels. And now if you see something, you see that those LIs are going to left, right? But here you can see all of them are going to left. We'll be doing that when we will be converting them into links, not now, but for now we'll just be aligning them as something. Okay, so let me just add a's around them so that it's just pretty easy to look, easy to understand from now itself. So I'll add an a and just an hashtag here and paste it up, save. Then again the same thing, control x a and then hashtag. When you add these direct a's in React, it just shows some error like this. You need to add some other valids also, but if you don't add, then it's okay, but sometimes it may cause an error also. So don't worry about that, it does not happens actually. But it's not actually I mean, what do we say, it's not actually recommended to add a directly as it is. They just tell us about some things that add this stuff, we can actually work with that. But now you see everything is blue as we have. Then I need to change it to ul from a, and here also I need to change it to a itself. And now I just need to add a color of white here. Actually we'll be doing it with style components, which I did in this header section. That will be the thing, I mean in this home section and all, that will be the thing we'll be doing up here also for that color. But till then, just wait. Okay, you will be getting everything. So, or either we can do that just now. So let me check what can we do about that. So yeah, actually we will do that right now. Why to waste time, right? So let me just define that style up here. So I'll say const, because there is not much styling for that, or maybe 3 lines, that's it. So I'll just say link style equals an object. Link style is an object. I will say text decoration is none, and then I will say its color is white. Okay, it's just 2 lines, nothing else is needed, guys. We can just complete our work with this. So I'll just say style link style. Okay, fine. And we actually just need to copy this, paste it over up here and up at the last one, and boom, you can see now they are actually white, and we can just remove it from here. And now everything is fine, and we can actually head back to nav.css back again and start working. Actually I am here, I don't know. Okay, so it's been a long time we are working. Okay, let's complete this first of all, and we will talk about other things later on. So in this nav items, I have added a margin top of 60 pixels, cool. Then I have styled this ul's a, which is also cool. Then we added a hover effect. Now we actually need to style the li. Okay, let's get going. Now if I say dot nav items, if I say .nav items, I get this ul and then li. This time I'm actually getting that li only. I'll give it a margin of 5 pixels from everywhere. Not 5, it's 5 pixels. And then I will just say less style to be none. I don't want any dots around it. And then I will just say margin left from left, because I want to differentiate a bit from that guy, that icon, right? It should have some space from that icon. So that's why I did this, and now you see it's actually good. And why its color is not coming? Okay, we can't actually style a like this. That can only be done with React router, so we need to do it from there. So just guys, just I want to say that I will just add white here, and you can see now it's white. And now we will be adding that later on. I can't do anything right now because I can't do that along with the anchor tag. That can only be done with the React router. Now I will say .nav open, which just says left to be 0, left to be 0, and then we will have .nav close, .nav close, which is from left, which is minus 300 pixels. Now I actually need to define this 300 pixels width to something that will be our nav content. And actually I have never styled this our nav content, which is so important. Okay, I have styled it, I just forgot to give it some width. That's it. So that's what I'm seeing. I never give the width of 300 pixels to anything, but now it's actually styled. If I go here, it's something different. Okay, I have given some width to it. What is it? Padding of 10 pixels. Good. Now I don't know what is actually happening here. I gave it a padding of 10 pixels, and just saying, here it is black, but here it is. So let's just make it, let's just let it be this color only, because everywhere black, it's not so good. Here it is looking good, but I don't think that again doing the same thing again and again is good. So let's just style it a bit more awesomely. Okay, so let's just make it a bit lefter. I mean, let's take it a left. And how we are going to do that? From this nav content, I just gave it a padding, nothing else than that, right? So if I remove this padding also, okay, this padding is acting like a margin, so we don't actually need that padding. And then here, this is our nav content, and I'm just saying to remove, or say its padding to be 0. Okay guys, our nav is now working perfectly, but just the thing is that we need to style it up. So we have our menu button, nav items. Okay, I can do one thing. This is our nav items, right? So I can just say transform, translate x negative 15 pixels, I say, and test it out. And no, a bit more, let's say 25. Now it's perfectly alright. And we can either make its text a little bigger, so I'll just say font size 30 pixels, which will be a lot bigger, I guess. Yes, as I said, let's make it 20 so that it's perfect. And yeah, now you can see it's all good. So guys, I think that this video is becoming so long, so we'll be covering the next part, that is this footer. Where is it? Okay, this one, this footer, in the next part, and we will be just fixing these bugs. That is, if I click on here, it just closes. We'll be also fixing that in the next part itself, so don't worry about that. We'll be doing everything. I will be not leaving even a single thing. Okay, so let's meet again in the next video. So that's it for this video, guys. I'll meet you again with another video, that I mean the next episode of this series. Until then, bye guys, and just keep practicing React and improve your skills. That's what I want you to do. So let's meet again. Bye bye.